So you want to be an author? Well, you're not alone. There are lots of people that think that being an author is just perfect for them. But before you embark on a writing career, the one thing you need to do is ask yourself just a couple of questions. Why do you want to be an author? If the main answer is that you're looking for fame and to write a bestseller, maybe, attend glamorous events as a celebrity because your book has been turned into a film and it's made you a lot of money, then you're probably on the wrong course and you need to rethink what it is that you want from life, because sadly, not many authors make a huge amount of money, and very, very few, tiny little amount of people actually become very, very famous and sell their books and make a lot of money. People seem to think that once you sold a book, the rights have been taken over for a movie, then you're going to make money. It doesn't work like that, sadly. The percentage that you get is probably a lot less than you would imagine. Anyway, that said, people go, well, what about J.K. Rowling? What about Harry Potter? J.K. Rowling got tons and tons of rejections before somebody accepted her manuscript and published it, and it still didn't sell very well, and until it was a second edition, and then it took off. And that's a very, very rare but a fantastic example of how being an author can be brilliant, but in reality, it's not really a dream of glamour. It's not a glamorous dream. Some people say, well, they want it for financial freedom. Yes, you can earn a living as an author, but it takes a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of dedication to get there. If you're going into purely for the money, then again, I don't think it's a career for you, and you need to rethink it. Some people go, well, it's a career choice. It's not about the money. It's because that's what I want to do. If that's what's your bag, then that's your bag, and good on you. If you choose to be a writer because that's what you want to do, then you're probably approaching it correctly. Let's say at the right angle. There are some people who say, yeah, but I can write things that people will like. Can you? Not everybody's going to like what you write. I've written things that people think absolutely stink. I've written things that people love. But then there's a percentage of people who've reviewed them badly, and given me really bad feedback and said, this just isn't for me. And that's the thing with writing. It's like comedy. It's subjective. It's not for everyone. And what you write won't be for everyone. I personally, I don't read fantasy. I can't do with, for me, things like Game of Thrones and New Worlds and fantasy and Hobbits and things like that. That's just not my bag. That's just not my thing. I have quite an eclectic reading collection. I like everything from women's fiction to crime to horror to all sorts of different genres. But fantasy just leaves me cold, as does most historical novels. They leave me quite cold. I'm not really into that sort of thing. And so, I can't say that, the people who write this sort of material are not very good writers. They're probably exceptional writers. It's just that the subject matter doesn't appeal to me. So don't think that you can write things that people will like and everyone will like, because that just isn't the case. Another thing that people say when you ask them about being an author is they say, well, it's easy. Well, technically, I suppose it is, because, it's just you, your thoughts, your imagination, and your fingers on a keyboard, So, yes, it's easy in that respect, but it's not easy when you have to maintain it. You've got to keep the rhythm going. You've got to apply yourself. You've got to work at it. You've got to work hard as well as working at it. And people will say, but all I have to do is write. Well, yeah, all you have to do is write. And then once you've written, you've then got to write again, draft again, change the plots, check it, edit, get people to read it, go back and write it again, redraft it. So it's not just a case of all you have to do is write, because once you've got it perfect, then what do? You've got to sell it. You've got to market it. There's more to being an author than just sitting at a computer and banging out words. And that brings me to the thing where people go, well, I don't need to work hard. Well, you have to work as hard as most people if you're an author who run their own business, because a lot of people forget that being an author is like running a business. You are your business. What you write is your product. And so you need to be able to market it. You need to be able to sell it. You need to be able to meet the right people. You need to put it in front of the right people. You need to schmooze the other writers. You need to get feedback. You need to get critiques. You need to be able to do all of these things as well as write. So it's hardly hard work, hardly easy work. It can be quite hard. Being an author, obviously, I'm not going to go on and on and on about it, because there's tons of information out there about how to be an author, what you need to be an author, your motivation for being an author. I think that there are three R's, not two, 3 R's: resilience, rejection, and research. Resilience, because you've got to stay strong. You have to be able to keep going. You've got to put the work in. You've got to write every day if possible. I will do videos about things like daily word amounts and plotting and all of those sort of things. But this is just an initial teaser about being an author. But resilience, because there will be times when you think, oh, do I really need to do this? Do I really want to do this? And if it's what you really want to do, you've got to be strong. You've got to have the willpower to keep going, to break through. Rejection's massive. It's a massive thing, because, like I said, you can write things that some people are like, but you'll write things that not everybody likes. You'll write things that just aren't marketable, that publishers will say, that's not really for us. So, you've got to be able to deal with rejections. Agents will send rejection letters, publishers rejection. Even selling a book on Amazon, somebody might buy it and you might go, well, hey, I've sold another copy, and then look on your dashboard 2 hours later and find that it's been sent back and they've had the money back. Rejection comes in many forms, and you've got to get yourself a tough, thick skin and deal with it. Don't read your reviews if you're going to be upset by them. If people review your book and say it's rubbish, then move on. Just say they didn't like it. Don't dwell on it. Don't try to hunt them down and and post horrible things to their letterboxes. Just deal with it, because rejection is a big part of being an author. And the final R, research. Whatever you write, you have to research. People say, oh, everyone's got a book in them. Write about what you know. You can only write about what you know up to a certain point. You need to research some things. You might decide to give one character an illness, and you might think you know about it, but you've got to do some research. You've got to do research on the illness. What's the treatment? What's the, general outcome? You can't write about things until you fully understand what they are, because one of the things about being a writer is keep it real. Even if you're writing fantasy that's set in, a world of your own making, you still have to keep it real. And that's the thing. That's really the only advice I can give you if you want to be an author, is keep it real. Be strong, be diligent, be resourceful, and just keep going. Because there's plenty, lots of plenties, because there is plenty of resources out there to help you. Anyway, that's all from me today. Come back again and we'll talk a bit more about being a writer, being an author. I'll talk about my books. I'll talk about the way that I work. I think I'm going to do put a video together about keeping track when you're writing, a little bit about plotting and keeping track. I'll share my screens with you on that one, and you can see how I go about it. But until then, look after yourselves and stay true.